Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships, where today and tomorrow we're going to be featuring the Tier 7 or Premium Russian Destroyer, the Leningrad, and I'm going to have some music playing in the background, which I think is the 1812 Overture, because this is by, if I can pronounce his name right, Tchaikovsky. Because when I was playing this battle, I was just listening to some Spotify, and I had the battle music basically turned off for like next to nothing, very low volume. So we'll see if it fits. With that being said, the Tier 7 Leningrad. This has been a destroyer that has been in the game for a very long time. I think since 2016. I think all the way back where you could use to stealth fire. And when I say stealth fire, I don't mean by smoke, but like Omaha, you could do it. This is before I played the game, where your caliber was so small, and it was like there was a ship shooting at you, but you couldn't see what ship was that was shooting at you. So Leningrad used to be able to do this just a little bit of a window there for her to do that, and where her gun bloom wasn't as great as her main battery firing range, but the game has seen a lot of changes since 2016. Thank you for that, Wargaming. So, the Leningrad. This is actually, in my opinion, a really good Tier 7 destroyer. In terms of Tier 7 destroyers, I'm thinking about this off the top of my head right now. But I would say of the Tier 7 destroyers I've played in the game so far, now I haven't played Sims yet, Leningrad is my favorite Tier 7 destroyer that I've played so far. And that is, she has really good capability as a destroyer for multiple reasons, which we will get into, we will talk about. But let me just talk about how this battle here on Neighbors and Standard Battle is unfolding. So what's happened here is that the enemy team, the destroyer and even the enemy submarine, have decided that pushing over here on this flank is not worth their time, which is mean we are going to be able to shine here as we're top tier versus tier 5. So cruisers, we're gonna have some fun with some low tier cruisers as well, mid tier cruisers in this battle. Another one of the reasons why I was really like playing Leningrad with her not only decent high explosive, but her really good armor piercing. So let's just go ahead and talk about the ship a little bit here. So she has 5 130mm guns that if you don't build for reload, your reload time is 5 seconds, but if you build into like the main battery A specialist, you can get down to 4.75 seconds. And then taking to something account like Fearless Brawler, which I think would probably be a pretty good option to run here, get you down to 4.28 seconds, and that's before you even take the drone Russian account. So maybe you're looking at 4.2, 4.1, 4-second reload, depending on your health as a whole. Now, one of the things you can see what I have done in terms of the build here in this ship is that I'm running the main battery in AA Expert, because I had this commander technically is tied to a different ship, but that gives us it's almost, but it shows on the map as a 13.9 kilometer main battery firing range, and you can do that because the shell velocity on these guns is pretty good. So you're going to see us harassing ships and switching to the armor piercing. So watch this armor piercing salvo on a tier 5 cruiser that is made of citadels. Okay, 23,000 health, and we're going to shave, almost 11,000 health off in one salvo. That is the power you have with these Russian 130mm AP guns. So he's going to be kind of turning in and turning out. So we're going to be switching back between the armor piercing and high explosive here. Now we can zoom out a little bit too when we zoom in, but I'm really greedy. I'm really trying to get those citadels, so I'm trying to figure out what he's doing. So I decided let's just go ahead and pop torpedoes off into the water, because he's just swinging back and forth. So I think it's likely we might get some hits on him if he keeps playing as he is. So with having that 13.9 gun range, you can see we were harassing, so we were farming the Strasbourg, and one of the effects you have, because there's no destroyers or really cruisers, no one's really focusing on us. We've essentially forced the Strasbourg off this flank, and he is going elsewhere currently on the map, as he's already sailing through their spawn. So we are gonna get lucky with these torpedoes. So let's talk about these torpedoes. Now, the one thing, on one hand, you have really great guns with the Leningrad. And on the other hand, you have really nice torpedoes. So you actually get 8 torpedoes. It's a 2x4 set. These are 533mm torpedoes that go 8 kilometers, and their maximum damage is 15,100. Now, if you don't build into reload or anything like that, you're looking at just over a minute and a half, 92-second reload time. But of course, taking into account something like adrenaline rush, then it's going to start, shorter reload time. So these torpedoes, they go 60 knots. They have actually pretty good, decent detectability range of 1.2 kilometers. They start getting even much better, then you're beginning to look at more of something like deep water torpedoes. So the reaction time is estimated to be 7.4 seconds. Now, if you really wanted to invest in torpedoes, let's say you made like Swift Fish, right? And you can get 63 knots, which would be like a 7.1 second reaction time. And you could even build more into the reload. And if you took filtered tubes, then you'd be down to 82.8 seconds. Now, I say these things, but I think this ship really revolves more around the guns, more so than the torpedoes. You can see most of the damage we've done so far has been with the guns. Now, one of the things I do like about the Leningrad, and that is when you go for a max conceal build, you're running 6.6 kilometer and 3.11 by air. When you have 8 kilometer torpedoes and 6.6 kilometer detect by sea, it allows you to stealth torpedo. So when there are times you're maybe getting a little bit uncomfortable with how the battle's progressing, or like we had this Geniza now kind of pushing into us, and I decided that let's just stay dark for a little bit. Let's see how he runs. We'll dump some torpedoes, and we do get another torpedo hit. And I think we got a fire on him from earlier. I've been kind of going back in between 2 screens here. Yeah, there's the DCP. So letting my team know, hey, Geniza now has DCP. And that's just, for me, helpful information, and I like when other team players share that information with me as well. But having that 1.4 kilometer window in your torpedo range is quite helpful in terms of detectability. When you need to go dark, you can go dark. We kind of felt uncomfortable, we'll go dark. And then Bingo gets some torpedoes off now, and then we engage. Now, one of the things you do have, which we've not used yet, is you also have a smoke screen. Okay, so this smoke screen has a 20-second consumable action time and a smoke screen dispersion time of 85 seconds. So you can go dark when needed to. Now, the way I typically play the Russian destroyers, and I would say this is more of a gunboat destroyer per se than a torpedo destroyer, but she's kind of a hybrid that leans towards gunboat, just because these guns are just really good, and I think that's the primary armor that shines the most with the Leningrad. But you can go dark when needed to, which you're going to see we're going to get a situation a little bit later into this match where we are going to utilize our smoke screen. But my primary play style with this ship is play at range, harass with these 130mm guns. As you see, we get some nice damage. Now we're focusing this Tier 7 American heavy cruiser, the Boise, and he's about to go down here. I don't think by us though. Yeah, T-22 takes him out with his guns. And then now we're looking to the next target. So one of the things that's nice when we have this 13.9 kilometer gun range is we can play at range, and we're just harassing the battleships, we're harassing the cruisers, and there's no one really to keep us in check and challenge. So this match, I would say, it worked out really well for us. Now, the goal was when I ran up along the island at the bottom of H3, I3, was that there's going to be a destroyer. I wanted to take the fight and utilize the islands to draw on the distance. You don't have the best concealment, nor would I say you necessarily have the worst concealment at Tier 7 for a destroyer. It's decent. It's kind of not terrible and not great. But when you are able to utilize these guns, you can put a hurting on the enemy destroyers and enemy ships in general quite quickly. But utilizing her speed, like her engine boost, which is a plus 8% engine boost, to close in the distance or utilize in an open gunboat fashion, which is honestly what I like to do most with Leningrad. And here we just get to take advantage of the island for free. We don't have to worry about being detected, and we're going to be getting closer and closer to the enemy cap, and so we're going to put pressure on it, and it's probably going to draw, if the enemy team is paying attention, it should draw their attention towards us, and that's kind of the goal. So also that we set ourselves up in a cross, this Prince Heinrich as an example right now has been a crossfire, so you know, so he has to show broadside to somebody, whether it be us, or you know, we have a cruiser down in F6. Can't quite see who it is, and we even have another cruiser all the way over in F2. So he has to keep accelerating away if he wants to get out of this kind of pincer movement that's beginning to sort of happen around him. So we also utilized the AP, so I was like, well, let me test out the AP. You know, he is a battle cruiser. You can see there's a nice 1K salvo there, switching back and forth. And this is where we're going to pick up some attention from both the Omaha and the Skan. I'm not too concerned about the Skan. Running out of map, we'll fix our rudder, and a little greedy to try to get some citadels on the Tier 5 cruiser again. If we're going to get Tier 5 or a cruiser, or citadels on Tier 5 cruiser, it's definitely going to happen to Omaha. Which is indeed the case. Now we've avoided the Skan torpedoes, but because he's Swedish, means he's going to have a pretty good reload time. So there's likely going to be more torps on the way. He's probably about to be reloaded already, if not. So I'm playing a little bit, probably a little playing too comfortable. I'm not respecting Skan's torpedoes enough. Granted, I'm not worried about them just instantly taking us out because they're Skan torpedoes. If we take one, it's not going to be worse. And I make a mistake here. I accelerated, I reversed, I accelerated. So if I just reversed instantly, we wouldn't even have eaten that torpedo. But alas, that's not how we played. Now, we probably can survive one more Skan torpedo, but I would rather not. So we focus on taking out the Omaha. You can see he was bow in, and we did 4 pins with these 130mm guns. So Skan's probably going to feel pretty lucky. He's probably going to dump some more torps off on us. And what I would kind of like to do is just be able to accelerate forward, turn out left, and come back. But that means I'm going to be in the way of these torpedoes twice, and Skan reloads pretty fast. So I decided it's best to just go ahead and reverse out of the smoke. I do have the T-22 nearby in case that Skan is closer and he picks us up with our 6.6 conceal. So I decided I want to reverse. I want to give some space out of the smoke screen in case there's any potential torpedoes coming in. So, yep, there they are. So it was a good move on us. So the T-22 has asked for support, so we're going to acknowledge that. And so we're going to push in here, and we're going to find out as soon as we step on the cap if Skan's still around or not. He's not. We're capturing. So he's left the cap somewhere. We don't know exactly where, so I just ping in general. Maybe he's running that way or that way. You know, he could be even down in there. So he moved a little bit more further back, and he's also probably helps him get maybe some torpedoes on the cruiser that's back behind us. As I've witnessed, we picked up high caliber and Confederate as well with 122,000 damage and 21,000 spotting damage. So not a whole lot of potential damage because people just haven't been. It's not exciting to shoot a destroyer who's going really fast for battleships because they just don't feel like they're getting much damage in. Because this is, I don't know if it still is, but it is one of the fastest Tier 7 destroyers in the game. I think with the hull setup, let me look here. I think you can get, yeah, this, not even taking engine boosts into account, I think we can get up past 45 knots. Because right now in the WoW shipbuilding tools, it's saying 45.1 knots, but it's not saying anything whether, you know, I don't think that takes engine boosts into account. So you can get over, I think, 50. Actually, I should have paid attention earlier when we were using the engine boost. But you can see we've gone through all the engine boosts already, and we've only used one of the smoke screens. So for now, we're just going to sit on the cap. We have 123,000 damage, and if Scon wants to do something about it, he's going to have to come kill us. But I think, or reset one of us at least in the cap, but I think he's pretty focused on trying to get that U69. So in 20 seconds, as long as there's no interruption, we should have the cap. But all in all, the Leningrad is a fantastic Tier 7 destroyer. I quite like it. Now, when you're facing, this is top tier, right? If you're bottom tier versus 9s, then you're probably going to begin, Leningrad's going to struggle. Same tier matchmaking, she's good. But if she's bottom tier versus 8s and 9s, it's going to be a little bit more of a painful experience in playing Leningrad. So I was playing, getting some snowflakes off, and so I hadn't played Leningrad in a while, and I was like, man, I just reminded of how much I really enjoyed playing this Tier 7 Russian premium destroyer. So almost 124,000 damage, 500,000 credits with the Confederate and high caliber, 242 shell hits, 2 torp hits, 2 destroyed, 7 citadels, some flooding. So we did get flooding on both of those torpedoes. Going over to team score, we're going to top the team with almost 1,800 base XP. Our T-22 did really well. In addition to our Exeter and Yukon, did good. And you can see that Strasbourg and Scon were really carrying a lot for their team, so they both did well as well. Fires, we did 31,000 damage, floodings 2,600. You can see APs, shells 27,100, high explosive 75,000. We took 11,000 damage, all said and done. And then here with premium count, you can see our ship cost was actually not very expensive, just 38,000 spent. So I hope you like this video. Tomorrow we're going to go over the Leningrad on an upgraded commander build video. My idea and hope is maybe I get to feature Azuma next week. Someone asked about it in the comments a couple days ago. And that's a ship that I struggle with, and I don't play it very much because it's not a carry ship, but we'll see. But tomorrow we'll do upgrade commander build video here on the Leningrad. So if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you did not, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.